Good day, everyone. So, I was what you would call a parentified child, and I didn't hear of this terminology until just recently, and actually made me feel very much not alone in my experience, and helped me to understand my experience better by hearing other people's stories. And so if you don't know what a parentified child is, it means that your parents, to some degree, didn't have the tools to be able to care for you in so many ways. So, and you pretty much had to raise yourself to a certain degree and be the parent. And even as you got older, into your early adolescent years, your parents still have these problems. And so you're an adult now, 20s, 30s, 40s, and some of us are still stuck in that pattern of going to save the day and going to help our, children, parents. Okay, so I came from this past, and to be honest, it was a huge burden to carry. And whoever gave me this job, gave it to myself, whatever, I just took on that responsibility as a young girl, and I just ran with it and took on that duty. And so my experience as a parentified child has been, my energy was always focused outside of me on taking care of my parents' emotional needs. I also had a younger brother too, so I felt responsible for him as well. And so what happened was, through this experience, I became, as you would call it, more empathetic. And so I could always feel the energy or feel somebody's emotions more intensely. And while that can be a good thing, feeling empathy, it also has a downside because I wasn't able to focus my energy on myself and see myself as a total, like an individual separate from my parents that were like, children in a lot of ways and couldn't take care of their emotional needs and used substances like alcohol to suppress and the whole bit. So I wasn't able to, become my own individual without worrying about my parents all the time. And this habit or way of being went well into my, my 20s. And while I have been on my spiritual journey of awakening and finding different ways of life, ways of being to be better, and I always carried that responsibility, that feeling, that weight on me, like it was my duty to take care of my parents. I can give you an example. One time I went over to my parents' house, and this was in my, late 20s, and my mom told me that she had been coughing a lot, and we were wondering what was wrong with her. Then we ended up taking her sheets off of her bed, and there was actually mold on their bed. And anyways, it doesn't matter where the mold came from. I'm just trying to explain something. So in that moment, right, I had this automatic savior complex of, well, you guys don't have the money to buy a bed. I'm buying you a bed right now, because all I'm thinking is, my mom's getting sick, she's coughing, she's gonna die. I have to save her. I have to help my mom and my dad. So I went on my phone and went and used my credit card and bought a $1,000 bed for my parents, right? And so instances like that, or if they didn't have enough food, I would buy them groceries. And I always felt that like it was my duty. I had to do it. And on top of that, I had my own issues. I would use alcohol to suppress my emotions, like my parents did. Although I feel like I did do a lot more in terms of trying to take care of my health more than my parents, because from a young age, I knew that I wanted more and I wanted better. So I was into yoga, and, I went to school, I went to college, and I tried to eat healthy, spend time in nature, all that stuff that I love dearly and has saved my life. On top of that, I still drank a lot, right? To not have to deal with maybe those feelings of being a parentified child. And on top of whatever feelings of insecurity, not feeling confident. I've always had a dream to be a coach. I want to help people. And so hence why I started this YouTube channel. But I never focused on myself completely, because there was always 50 or 60% of me still committed to looking after my parents, right? Or committed, like energetically focused on them and not on myself, right? I wasn't fully committed until, I would say, more so recently. And so I've had a lot of realizations about my life and about myself. So anyways, my point of making this video was that I wanted to share a little bit of my story, just to create a safe space for other people out there that have gone through something similar and also feel that burden, feel that weight, and maybe how it has held you back in your life, right? And you feel, like you really feel and you believe that it is your duty, like you have to take care of your parents or you'll feel bad if you don't, right? I think if you want to change your life and you want to move away from that, it's going to take a lot of work, but you have to start somewhere, and you have to start acknowledging those uncomfortable feelings that you feel when something happens to your parents and you feel like you need to do something in that moment. You feel like it's your responsibility. When those moments arise, when you get anxiety and you feel like the need to go and run and do something, those are the moments when the change can happen, when the shift can happen. But I guess first you need to feel worth it or worthy enough to begin with, right? You have to know that you deserve to be here individually as your own individual soul, living this life. And it takes a lot of, what do they call it? Cord cutting, energetic cords cutting and releasing, and meditation. It takes a lot. But I want you to know that you're worth it, and you deserve, like, you came into this life, you were given this life to live. And maybe this is one of your lessons that you're supposed to learn. So instead of continuing on in your life carrying a burden that is not yours, decide to put that burden down and recognize that it was not yours to begin with, and to forgive yourself, because as a little girl or a little boy, you didn't know any better. And that's okay. Every day is a new day to change your life, to live fully the way you want to live in this life. I'm going to be sharing more stories, I'm sure, on my channel about my life, and so maybe you can stay tuned and feel connected when you hear my side of things to make you feel not so alone on your journey. And when you wake up every morning, you just need to remind yourself that this is your life. And one day at a time, you can move towards living that life for yourself. Anyways, I hope my story resonated with somebody. And I also want you guys to know that I am doing a lot better in terms of not being that parentified child. And I am living out my dream and focusing more and more on myself, pretty much almost 100% these days. And I can tell you that it hasn't been easy, but also the benefits are amazing, and I'm feeling really great. And I have come to terms with the fact that, I mean, my mom passed away a few years ago. My dad's still alive, but I'm cutting the cords. Whatever he chooses to do in his life is his decision, and I'm slowly being that. In that moment when I start to feel anxiety about my dad, I catch that in that moment, and I take 5 to 10 deep breaths, and I focus my energy back in on myself, and I say a few affirmations. But I'm getting there, and I know that you can get there too. Okay? So hold on and take one step at a time.